We begin with our hero, who looks like he has lost his life while playing a video game. He comments that he got too excited while playing the game, and he accidentally ended up tripping after coming to the climax. He doesn't really remember what happened after that, but it seems as if he has been taken to some kind of spiritual realm, and he is still playing video games here as well. On top of that, he has found himself an entertaining new gaming partner in an old man. He does not know who he is or why he has been brought to this particular realm, but he enjoys gaming and competing with the old man whenever he can. They have become like gamer buddies now, but the funny thing is that our hero keeps losing to the old man again and again. The old man mocks him for his constant failures, and that's when we learn that he is actually the creator of the game, which is called Grustheim. What's actually more shocking is the fact that this old man is none other than God himself. Our hero is unable to believe that the creator of his favorite game is God. But he is right in front of him, so he can't deny the truth. On top of that, he can actually see his own dead body, so he knows that he is actually in the spiritual world right now. Now, God tells our hero that he was pleased to see how much he enjoyed playing his games. As a matter of fact, he was shocked to see that his gaming buddy genuinely forgot to eat and sleep at times while playing the game. God was watching him the entire time, and he couldn't stop smiling. Our hero says that he did enjoy playing Grustheim, but he felt that the cover art was too low budget. He also wishes that God play the games that he enjoys other than Grustheim. However, before they can continue to the next round, we see our hero's body disappearing. God laments that his time here is up, and he will have to be reincarnated into the next world. He does not want to say goodbye, but he has to play by his own rules, so God tells him that he is vanishing because his body is completely gone. This means that his soul will now find a new body, so our hero thanks God for all the matches they played against each other. God is also happy to have played with him, and then they bid farewell to each other. With that, our hero vanishes into thin air, and his gaming console drops to the spiritual floor. God is sad because he has come to love the player who has ended up loving the game he created. However, this is fate, and even the power of a god can do nothing to change it. Of course, since he really likes our hero, he has decided to reincarnate him into a boy named Wayne. He wishes to help Wayne as much as he can, which is why he decides to give him a proper reincarnation as his way of thanks. Now, Wayne slowly opens his eyes and can see a woman calling out to him. He does not know who she is or what he is doing here, but the woman is extremely happy to see him open his eyes. She calls out to the doctor and tries to get him inside as soon as possible. Wayne wonders if someone saved his life in the nick of time, but this is clearly not the case. He takes a look at his hands and notices that they are not the same hands he had before. Of course, he is a gamer, so he would know how his hands look and feel. But the real problem is that he is actually a small kid right now. He is very confused, and even more so by the woman who is smiling a lot while looking at him. Suddenly, God calls out to Wayne and tells him that he has reincarnated him into another human, and that too in another world which is similar to Earth. The doctor comes charging in, and then God says that he could not do anything to bring him back to his original body. After all, his soul had left his body, so there was no hope for revival. But God did have one backup plan, which was to have him enter another vessel. God tells Wayne that his consciousness will slowly fade away, as will his memories of his past life. This means that he will also forget the sessions he had with God during their game time. Having said that, God has left one gift for Wayne, which strangely happens to be a gun. Without this gun, our hero might end up forgetting everything. But God did not want this to happen, even if it makes him look selfish. At the end of the day, he does not want Wayne to forget that he loved playing Grustheim, and that he was a true gamer by heart. Now, the woman happily hugs Wayne and comments on how she is so relieved to see him breathing again. Of course, he still has no idea who she is, so he asks for her identity. He eventually says it out loud, and it shocks the woman to hear this. That's when he learned that her name is Fina, and she is actually Wayne's mother. Of course, because Wayne's soul is not her child's, we can safely call Fina his stepmom. The bald doctor tells Fina that Wayne could have lost his memory due to the accident, and it makes her upset. This is even worse for Wayne because his stepmom is an extremely cute and curvy babe. It feels as if he has had a really long dream, so he tries to settle into his new reality. Wayne asks if this is a hospital, and then looks at his stepmom crying her heart out. She is definitely upset that her stepson does not recognize her. But when he utters the word mom, she becomes happy once again. She is so happy that she squeezes her stepson into her soft cushions and starts to choke him with her heavenly curves. She feels there is no way for him to forget her. But the doctor tells her that she is choking her stepson. Either way, Fina is not going to let go of her stepson anymore, and she gets Wayne discharged from the hospital. The doctor tells our hero not to strain himself for now because he needs the rest. Now, we learn that Wayne had accidentally slipped and fell off a cliff, which is why he was taken to the hospital. Fina asks him what he wants to eat when they get home, but he says that he would like anything that his mommy makes for him. He can't remember anything from the accident, but he has to be more careful going forward. After all, he can't afford to let a beauty like Fina cry over him. He needs to get much stronger than he's ever been. So Wayne sets himself on a mission for this new life. He has to be like the hero he plays in his video games, who is capable enough to take down a dragon. Now, we move to Wayne's house where his stepmom tries to feed him herself. He says that he can eat by himself, but Fina insists on feeding him because the doctor did tell her stepson to take it easy for now. She is very loving in her approach and is the perfect stepmom for any teenage boy. However, Wayne takes note of the fact that she is being very clingy with him. As a matter of fact, after he spoke with the neighborhood ladies, he learned that Fina was being 5 times as caring as she usually is with her stepson. She is being a bit too hands-on with her approach, and doesn't even let him study by himself. Fina throws herself at her stepson and kisses him on the cheeks. She also tells him to return the favor, which is something he is not too keen on doing. Our hero tells us that his stepmom is very calm and composed on the outside when they are in front of other people. However, whenever they are alone in the house with each other, she becomes a bit too loving for his own liking. Wayne tells us that he does love his stepmom, but even he knows that this is not a normal relationship. Either way, since he has been pampered with so much love, Wayne manages to grow a healthy life. 4 years after this incident, we see him as 12 years old and flaunting God's gun as if he is a certified cowboy. By now, Wayne has mostly forgotten about his past life, which is why the gun in his hand is also something he does not clearly remember. It is by far his strongest strength, but he is not sure if he feels the same way about it. Now, he can safely hold it in his hands as they are big enough to wield a gun. However, he uses the world reload, and it triggers something in the gun. All of a sudden, a bullet reload cartridge shows up in front of Wayne and floats in the air. Soon enough, it goes inside the gun, thus making it locked and loaded. Wayne can hear the voices in his head telling him to pull the trigger, and it almost feels as if he has heard this somewhere before. That's when he actually does fire his gun, and the bullet hits the tree in front of him. Wayne is amazed to see himself wielding such a powerful weapon, and he can't believe what he has gotten ever since he was just 8 years old. Every single time he pulls the trigger, an immensely powerful bullet comes out of the gun and damages the tree. It looks like this world does not really know what a gun is, which is why such a feeling is so foreign to our hero. He is a bit shaken up by using the gun, but he knows he can use it become a lot stronger in the future. Having said that, Wayne shivers a bit too much and falls to the ground, probably because of the recoil from all the practice shots he was taking. Now, we move back to his place where Fina is taking care of him. Of course, she is worried for her stepson as she does not want to go through the same experience again. Luckily for her, Wayne wakes up, and she hugs him with joy. our hero learns that he had collapsed outside, and he should not be pushing himself too much. Of course, he believes this is because of all the times he used his reload skill to shoot at the tree. It could be that the skill takes up a lot of stamina. So Wayne says sorry to his stepmom and promises not to mess up this way ever again. Fina makes him promise this to her, and Wayne tells us that he will need to learn a lot more about the gun he has just fired. After all, he has so much to understand about the weapon, and it does not make sense for him to make his stepmom cry again. Some more time passes by, and we can see Wayne inside a bathtub. He comments on how Fina has been spoiling him even more than before because of the incident with the gun. She does every single thing now, right from brushing his teeth to even changing his clothes. And this is all a bit too weird for Wayne. He does not want to be treated as a toddler anymore. But as soon as he thinks this, Fina calls out to him asking if he is in the bath. That's when his stepmom also enters the bathroom, and she is only covering herself with a towel. Wayne is shocked to see her, so he asks what she is doing in the bath. Fina simply says that she will wash his body now. With that, our hero has no choice but to let his stepmom rub his back from behind while he does his best to control his intrusive thoughts. However, Fina does not give him any time to recover as she starts to clean other parts of his body without any hesitation. This becomes a bit too much for our hero to take, and before his elephant unleashes its trunk, he decides to get up and run away from the scene. Now, we move to nighttime where Wayne is trying to sleep in his bed. He knows that today things went out of hand with his stepmom, as she was clearly trying to make a move on him. No matter how he looks at it, there is no denying the fact that something shady is going on inside Fina's head. Suddenly, someone knocks on the door, and it's none other than Fina herself, who is dressed up in provocative attire. Wayne does not know how to react to this, but his stepmom says sorry for going overboard earlier in the day. Fina explains that when she felt the size of his trunk, she realized that he has grown up quite a bit and might be taken away by some other girl. This was why she did not want him to drift away from her. But even then, Wayne feels this is a bit too strange for him. Fina gets on top of her stepson and says that she wants to be with him together forever. From the smell of her mouth, Wayne realizes that his stepmom is drunk and does not have any kind of filter on her intrusive thoughts. Now, Fina climbs into bed with Wayne and says that stepmom and stepson should sleep together. He says fine, hoping that sleeping is all that they are going to do. But this could not be further from the truth. He knows this is a bad thing, because Fina's soft cushions are pressing up against his arm, and it's causing his elephant to rise from his slumber. He can't help the fact that his stepmom is so cute and curvy, and it looks like he is about to do the unspeakable. Fina tells Wayne that he has really grown a lot in these 4 years, and she might just make a move on him now. At any cost, our hero has to endure the temptation and not do anything twisted. However, when we move to the next morning, we can see that he was not able to endure anything at all. The stepson and stepmom had become official residents of Alabama due to their lewd acts last night. Fina looks at Wayne with a smile and says happily that they were able to do what she was wanting to do for a while. It turns out that Wayne released his trunk's water into his stepmom's well, and even though she wanted him to do it, she says that he has to take responsibility for it. He wants to know what she means by this, so she says that he should stay by her side and never leave her alone. It looks like Wayne has found himself a new twisted mission now. And then we move to his stepmom getting him ready for some training. She asks him what he wants to be in the future, but he asks her why she wants to know this all of a sudden. She says that he has become an adult now, so he needs to think about his future. He says that he would like to travel to other places and become an adventurer. After all, that is what usually happens when a boy is reincarnated into another world. Fina does not seem to mind this at all, and she says that it would be a good idea to attend a military school. Wayne asks if Fina wants him to become a soldier, but she says that it would benefit him to train and get qualified for the military reserves. The stepmom adds that there are many uses for this qualification, especially if Wayne wants to travel and explore the world. If there were any newly discovered ruins, caves, or caverns, then it will be a lot easier for him to gain access to them if he is a military reserve. We learned that a lot of people attend the academy and get the necessary qualifications to become adventurers in this world. This is mainly popular because exploring dungeons can be a lot of fun over here. Wayne finds these things interesting, so he decides to go ahead with the military academy. Fina says that he will need to attend the academy starting next year, but since it is a boarding school, he will have to live in a dorm along with the other students. Wayne asks if his stepmom is fine with this, but she says that she can bear it as long as it is for her stepson's future. He thanks Fina for the understanding, and then they decide to begin training for the enrollment starting tomorrow. With that, our hero finally began an actual mission in his new life to become an adventurer and sort out his future. We learn that Fina is actually a very skilled person when it comes to art of magic and combat techniques. Wayne puts in his best efforts to learn about magic spells, body training, fighting skills, cooking, and even late-night bedroom skills. Time passes by in a jiffy, and before we know it, our hero is ready to go to military school and become a proper soldier. His stepmom asks him if he is forgetting anything and offers to check for him, but he says he has everything in place. He is thankful to his stepmom for being kind and sweet to him all this time, and even she is glad to see her stepson turning into a fine young man. Now, the magic bus arrives, so without further ado, it's time for Wayne to say goodbye to Fina. He knows he won't see his stepmom for a while, but it's time for him to go at last. Wayne sets foot into the bus, and with that, he says goodbye to Fina, who also tells him to have a safe trip. Wayne does feel weird that his stepmom is not being too emotional over seeing him leave. But then again, he knows how much she loves him, so it could be that she is simply trying to put on a smile for him, not to feel bad about going away. With that, he promises to become so strong that even his stepmom will be shocked to see his progress once he's back. He admits that he does not know how a military school works, but he is ready for the challenge and is going to take it head on. Meanwhile, we see Fina waking up in the morning and getting her stretch on. She then gets ready and locks the door to her house, after which she says that it's time for her to get going as well. That's when we learn that for 3 years, the door to her house was never opened, thus making the whole thing weird once again. Now, we see the military school, which is called Memphis Military Academy. The announcer welcomes all the students to this place and says that they will all be spending their next 3 years over here. He states that there will be a lot of difficulties and hardships for the students, but they will become true soldiers by the end of this program. The bald announcer goes on to talk about some different philosophies, explaining what it's like to be a good soldier. The bald man says that he wishes for all the students to graduate with flying colors, and then he concludes his speech. Now that the formal talk is done with, a cute girl takes over proceedings and decides to show everyone around the dorm rooms in the campus. As far as Wayne is concerned, he can see that he is the youngest person in this entire school, so he can be taken as an easy target. She starts with a school building which anyone can enter though the first door. They also notice a flower bed on the side, and she says that there is a separate beauty committee that looks into it. The group is then taken to behind the dorm, where lots of fights and other tussles usually happen. The cute girl says that such conflicts should be avoided, as they can result in getting expelled from the school. Also, if anyone sees anything, then they are expected to inform teachers about it. After that, the final spot is the dorm entrance, and the girl says that she is going to hand out all the information material, so the students should get in line. This is all fine to Wayne, as he can only think about doing well these 3 years and then coming back to his stepmom. After the material is handed out, the cute girl tells the students to go to their rooms and greet their senpais. We learn that the dorm has 3 floors and each room is usually shared by around 4 students. Out of these, one is usually a junior, while the other 2 or 3 students are seniors. There is a lot of furnishing in these rooms, which includes 2 bunk beds and other such items, so the students are encouraged to share with each other. Wayne does not like the fact that he has to share his room with seniors, as it would have been much better if he was with a classmate. Suddenly, the bald announcer comes up to him and asks what's up with the worried look on his face. He wants to know who this bald man is, so he asks for his name, and he says it's Norman. He seems to know that our hero's name is Wayne, which alarms him a bit. After all, there is no reason for him to know this name. But Norman says that there are only 2 students that have been enrolled at his age. There's obviously Wayne, and there's another girl named Sharon. Norman points to her, and also points out that she is very cute, so Wayne should do his best to get along with her. Norman offers to help Wayne get along with Sharon as well, and our hero can't stop thinking about how pretty she is. He realizes that even though this is a military school, he should not forget the fact that everyone here is young. This means that they should not stop themselves from enjoying their youth, and we can already see some of them making new friends. Wayne tells us that studies and practice are important as well, but he should also focus on the occasional fling or two. After all, his stepmom did give him a lot of training for this moment. He notices that boys can also share their rooms with girls, which is a good thing for him. Now that he understands most of it, our hero asks Norman if he has his eyes on anyone here. Maybe it's the girl in his own room, but he states that he is only with guys in the dorm. On top of that, he likes beefy girls, and he hasn't really seen any of those over here so far. Wayne asks him what he means by beefy, because to him, a beefy girl is a curvy babe with soft pillows. However, Norman clarifies that by beefy he means muscles. For some reason, he seems to like macho babes, and he asks our hero to let him know if he ever finds one of them. This is an odd kind of fantasy for Wayne, but he has done shady things with his own stepmom, so he's not one to judge. Norman tells our hero that he is a good guy, so they enter the dorm together and check for their rooms. Norman heads in his own direction and hopes to see Wayne in class the next day. Now that he is alone, Wayne starts to feel a bit nervous again, and he learns that Sharon also doesn't really have anyone to talk to. If that's the case, then it would have been great if the both of them were together. Anyway, he has to move forward, so he finds his own room, which is 208. Wayne hopes his seniors are nice, and with that he enters the room after asking to come in. It turns out that he is greeted by an extremely cute and curvy babe who refers to him as Freshman Cunt. Wayne is still trying to digest the fact that he is sharing a room with a girl. But then we learn that there is one more curvy babe in the form of Edna who is in bed. The cute girl tells Edna that a new kid has arrived, so Wayne bows down to them and says that he is in their care now. He introduces himself, but the cute girl tells him there is no need to be so stiff with her. She then tells Edna to come and say hello as well, but she simply shows some sass and turns over. The cute girl comments that Edna has a bit of a temper, so there is no need to take her behavior seriously. Wayne takes note of this and wonders if his first interaction with Edna has gone well. After all, he feels that he might have made her upset for some reason because he had no idea he would be sharing a room with girls. The cute girl tells him it's all good because Edna is a sweet girl by heart. She tells him to come inside now and introduces herself as Holly. She hopes to get along with him, and he is also looking forward to her taking care of him. He also tells Edna that it's nice to meet her, even though she has her back turned to him. Now, Holly tells Wayne that he can use the bottom bed in the front, as she was using it until yesterday. She jokes that it still has her scent on it, so Wayne gets a bit too excited. He doesn't want his intrusive thoughts to come to play, so he says that he is fine with taking the top bed. However, Holly tells him that a senpai will always have the absolute word, so he has to listen to her. It does look like Holly has some intrusive thoughts of her own, because she wants to tease Wayne due to his innocent look. She offers to brew him some tea, as he must be tired from attending the opening ceremony. He is thankful to her for her kindness, and then the both of them sit down together. As he sips on his tea, Wayne is taken aback when Holly randomly asks him if he has ever been touched by a woman. He spits out his tea and tells Holly that she has asked him a very abrupt question. However, she tells him that he's giving the vibe of not being used to women. Of course, our hero can proudly say that he has elite experience. But he can't exactly reveal the fact that he has done it with his stepmom. This is why he has to keep his mouth shut and tell her that she should not be teasing him this way. His behavior makes Holly believe that he is indeed an innocent boy, and that makes her even more excited. She does not know what she is going to do with him, but she definitely wants to have a taste of the fresh meat. Wayne can feel a somewhat wicked gaze from her, and then Holly asks him why he decided to enroll into military school. She feels it must be because he wants to become a soldier, and then she is about to say something. But at that very moment, our hero says that he wishes to join the reserves. Hearing this suddenly makes Edna wake up, and this shocks Holly more than anyone else. Edna refers to Wayne by his name and asks him to lend his face to her for a bit. She tells him to hurry, and our hero has no other choice but to say yes. Holly is upset because the conversation was going to become interesting for her. Of course, Wayne has to keep both girls happy, so he tells Holly that he is sorry for abruptly leaving. She says it's fine, and she hopes to continue their little talk once he's back. Holly shows off her shady side, yet again by saying she wanted to give Wayne a peek at her soft pillows. This would have made him give her some more cute reactions, which is something she likes to see. She is of the opinion that even Edna wants to show Wayne around, and this leads her to believe that Edna has a sweet side to her as well. Our hero is taken to behind the dorm, which is an area the students were warned about earlier. Now, Edna tells him that if he wishes to become a military reserve, then he should go to his dorm leader right now and ask to have his room changed. This is because he will not be able to achieve his goal if he continues to stay in his current room. At first, he does not understand why she is saying such a thing, but she says that it is because Holly has taken a liking to him. This is confusing to our hero, but Edna states that if Holly likes something, then she will do everything in her power to make it her own, whether it is a person or an item. Also, her parents are active duty officers, which means that she also has a strong range of influence. Essentially, after graduation, Holly will make sure that Wayne gets drafted as a soldier. Of course, Wayne counters by saying he can simply decline this offer. But Edna says that it's pointless to do so as Holly is a cunning girl. Basically, she will do anything that would be necessary during enrollment to keep Wayne by her side. She won't stop until he becomes totally dependent on her. So the moral of the story is that he will need to stay away from Holly as much as he can if he wants to become a military reserve. Now, this is not what Wayne wants because he came here to become stronger, not to run away from his problems. Edna says that the dorm leader's room is at the end of the first floor, and she will even come with him if he is shy to talk to him on his own. Wayne can see that Edna is being very sincere despite her harsh words. Just like his own stepmom, he can see the care and concern in Edna's eyes. Despite this, he tells her that he has come here to become a boss man. He feels that he will show himself as weak if he just avoids the problem and runs away from it. He does not care if Holly has influence, because he will surely stand up to her and come out on top. Edna is surprised to see the resolve in our hero, but she feels that it might be because he is a brat who does not know any better. In that case, she does not mind forcing our hero to get out of her room. She will use all her power to make him move out from his own volition, and she shows it off with a finisher move. It's a brutal punch straight into our hero's stomach, and Edna lands a direct hit. Wayne falls to the floor, but he manages to stay conscious, which impresses the sass girl. She says that he must have gone through some training if he is still standing after such a blow. But even then, she will not stop until Wayne says that he is moving out of the room. She lands a kick to his face, and it knocks him to the floor yet again, but he is not defeated yet. He commends Edna for having power and moves, and he realizes that he can only go against her by using defense or a counterattack. Edna says once again that Holly is not as soft as she makes herself appear. She will most definitely turn Wayne into a soldier by the end of the term, so it is in his best interest to get out of the room. Our hero says he understands what Edna is telling him, but in his mind, he knows that he also has to impress her. He can't win a fight with her because she is much older with a lot more experience, so he has to use another route. He says that he will only need one chance, and then he gets up once again. He tells Edna that if he is able to take off her chest badge, then she will have to acknowledge his abilities. She is a smart girl, and she calls him out for making such a daring bet with her. This because he is aiming for the same place where her soft pillow is located, and more importantly, where her heart is as well. This means that Wayne taking off her chest badge would be the same as him stabbing her in the heart. This does get her worked up, and she tells our hero that if he does manage to pull this off, then she will surely acknowledge him for having great skills. Wayne realizes that he will only get one chance at this, and he will not be able to use it several times in a row. He has gained a lot from his special training with his stepmom, and then we move to a flashback. Here, we see him with Fina, who believes that her stepson has an ability for time magic. She explains it by trying to strike him, but he dodges her almost as a reflex. Fina says that Wayne has the power to make time go faster or slower, which is why he was able to avoid the earlier attack, even if it was subconsciously. With that, she hugs our hero and tells him that only a select few people can use time magic. This makes her even prouder of her stepson, and she proceeds to engage in unspeakable acts with him. This led him to realize that he could do something similar back when he was playing the game with God. Of course, he can't recall that time clearly, but he feels he can get the job done if he plays his cards right. Now, we're back to the present where Wayne decides to slow down time. He does not know if he will be able to slow it by even a second, but this will be his only chance. As soon as Edna's right fist comes at him, her left chest will open up and leave her vulnerable. Now, she launches her attack at our hero, and he tries to counter her at the exact right time, just like the hero in the game. The moment of truth is here and Edna is about to land another direct hit. But Wayne is not fazed by her efforts. He unleashes his time magic and orders for Edna to slow down. He manages to pull it off and time does slow down long enough for him to dodge the punch and also grab Edna's chest badge. Of course, this also calls for an awkward moment because Wayne cops a feel of Edna's soft pillow as well. This makes her upset, so she smacks him away for feeling her up and our hero flies away. He smashes through the window and falls out to the other side. The other students notice this and panic, so they call for a doctor to tend to the new student. The news spreads everywhere about a new student getting punished by his senpai, and they treat it as a warning if they were to disobey their seniors. On the other hand, Holly is wondering why Edna and Wayne are taking so much time as she has finished off all her rice crackers. Later, Wayne wakes up in the infirmary, but he's still uneasy as he had taken a string of finisher moves from Edna. He doesn't know where he is, but then he sees a cute girl coming in and asking if he is awake now. That's when he realizes that the girl in front of him is none other than Sharon herself. He introduces himself and says that he is one of the youngest students here, just like her. She says that she is aware of this as Norman has already told her about Wayne. Our hero is a bit confused to hear his name, but Sharon says that Norman had asked her to look after him. Now, Wayne finally remembers the thrashing he took from Edna, and he realizes that he is in the first aid room. He hopes he didn't make Norman worry too much about him, and then Sharon asks him if he was done in by Edna. He confirms this, and then Sharon says that she has not heard too many nice things about the sass girl. Wayne wants to know more, so she says that ever since Edna has enrolled here, she has caused problems for a lot of people. On top of that, she has also left a lot of people in tears due to her violent nature. Of course, Wayne does not feel that is correct information because he could sense kindness from Edna, even if she was hitting him at full force. Sharon will not say anything to this, if it's how our hero really feels. But now that he's awake and well, she can go back to her room. She tells Wayne that Norman was the one who carried him to the first aid room, as he was extremely worried about his friend. She tells him to make sure he thanks his bald friend for his help. Wayne thanks her as well, and then he thinks back to how Edna's eyes were similar to those of his own stepmom. They were filled with care and concern, which is why he has faith in her kindness. At this very moment, Edna walks into the room and strikes a pose looking as curvy as ever. She asks Wayne if he is okay, and he says yes, but he has another motive in mind. Seeing that she has a lot of experience with training, Wayne feels that he should stick to the sass girl if he is to become stronger. He bows down to her and begs her to train him as her disciple. Of course, there's the chance of her saying no, but she surprisingly agrees to his proposal without any hesitation. Wayne is also shocked to see how easily she has agreed to his request. But she says that she will do it as long as it is what he wants. However, she maintains that he should not expect any soft behavior from her, because she will be very strict in her methods. Wayne has no problem with this, so Edna asks him to rest a bit more as it will affect his training. She puts her hand on him, and it feels nice and warm, so he relaxes in bed. Such a feeling is pretty much the same as Fina, so it brings back fond memories to our hero. Training starts the next day, and just as we had expected, it's very hard and unforgiving. Not that it affects Wayne in any particular way, because he is ready to give it his all. He still has another 200 punches to practice, but he says yes to Edna without even hesitating for a second. He realizes that even though he has trained quite a bit with his stepmom, he still has a long way to go when it comes to combat skills. Edna keeps adding more reps onto him when he messes up with his posture, so Wayne has his task cut out for him. Doing such an intense exercise right after waking up is harsh, so our hero needs to rest his arms. Edna says that he has gotten a bit better, so they will do the same thing next day. Wayne says yes as usual, even though he knows this might be harder than what Fina had taught him. Now, in a shocking revelation, Edna has made breakfast for Wayne, and she even offers to feed him as he is unable to move his own arms. He can't believe what he is seeing, but Edna states that she's only doing this because eating is also part of his training. The food is really tasty, and he compliments her for the food, but Edna reminds him that flattery is not going to make her any softer. Now, we learn that there is actually a proper reason for Edna being so agreeable with our hero. A flashback shows us that the sass girl was summoned to the main council of authorities of the school. They bring up her assault on Wayne earlier, and use this chance to remind her about the multiple other violations that they've caused in this school. They can't overlook this issue, especially because it is a new student she has attacked. Keeping these things in mind, the council tells Edna that they will have no other option but to expel her. Naturally, this is a huge problem for her, but the council is ready to strike a unique kind of deal with her. Since she is such a talented girl who is revealed to also possess time magic, they don't want to let go of her and such important powers. It would be a waste to do such a thing. So the council tells her to follow 3 points on a pledge that will be signed by her. If she is able to do this, then they will make sure to turn a blind eye to her recent outrage. Now we are back to the present, and Edna is thinking about the nature of the condition which has been given to her. On top of that, the council member who gave her the pledge is not someone she knows. She could also sense a strong bloodlust coming from her, so it could be possible that this instructor is Wayne's stepmom. Anyway, we learn that the first condition is to look after Wayne, and that includes treating him as if he is some kind of lover. Now, we see Edna wiping a stain off our hero's mouth, and it almost feels like she is indeed his lover girl. Now that he's done eating, Edna tells Wayne that he should get some rest, and he can use her lap for his head. They can resume training once he's done with his rest, so he thanks her for being so sweet to him. Now, Edna tells us that she has never kept a man company before. She thinks that if Holly was in her place, then it would have been a piece of cake for her. She even imagines Holly mocking her for not knowing the touch of a man. Edna gets annoyed simply by imagining Holly's smug face making fun of her, and this anger pushes her to resume training with Wayne. She is about to make him do a lot of leg work, and he is up to the task. He goes hard, but Edna tells him to stretch his legs even further. He does not mind any of this, which makes the sass girl actually commend him for keeping up with her training. Since she has been consistently first in the practical training department, Edna is always pursued by others to train them. However, none of these people were able to keep up once she pushed them past their limits. Instead of blaming themselves, these people would actually put Edna at fault by calling her harsh and extreme. Such rumors would spread rather easily. But it's not the same case with Wayne. He is earnest and sincere in his work, and he also chases after Edna to teach him more. After some time, we see that Wayne has completed yet another 200 sets both for left and right legs, so he is at his wit's end. Edna is pleased to see his efforts and says that they are done for today. Now, she asks him if he is willing to make a bet with her. He says yes as usual and is told to show if he can beat Edna in a match. If he wins, then she does not mind doing anything that he asks of her. He can even decide what kind of match they should have. And Edna mentions that he can even have his way with her if he comes out on top. She really is putting her body on the line to see our hero's skill set. Of course, this is mainly to motivate him better. So Edna asks Wayne if he wants to place this bet with her. Motivation really wasn't an issue with him, as can be seen in his dedication, but he understands the rules, so he'd like to challenge Edna to a shooting match. He's confident he'll win against her, which somewhat surprises the sass girl. Anyway, she goes through the rules of shooting with him, and then they go to an off-campus shooting range where they can play out their bet with ease. There are certain rods that can be used for shooting, and Edna offers one of hers to Wayne, but he says there will not be any need for it, as he will use his own weapon. Edna is a bit taken aback to see so much confidence in Wayne, but she has a secret skill which she will use to defeat him. Since her honor is on the line, there is no way she will allow our hero to win over her. Now, she presents the condition, which is that there will be a total of 20 plates, which will fly from right to left in front of some trees. The person who gets the most plates will win the encounter, and Edna tells Wayne that the level of difficulty will be the highest. Wayne actually says that he wanted this kind of situation, so Edna prepares to go first. She takes her stance and prepares to fire at the plates the moment they are launched into the air. This is the moment where Edna reveals she has time magic as she unleashes the acceleration attack. It's a brutal display of skills, and she is able to hit a total of 19 plates in front of Wayne. Wayne realizes that what he just was time magic, but Edna is busy telling him that she has gotten a near-perfect score. He is impressed by her skills, especially because she is using the opposite of his skill. This also leads him to realize that the reason Edna is able to pack such a strong punch is because she uses the accelerator move on her attacks. The sass girl now tells Wayne it's his turn to go for it, but she doesn't mind if he wants to give up. After all, he will need to hit all 20 plates if he is to win this bet. Wayne is not one to back down from a challenge, so he proceeds with the bet and brings out the God Gun. Edna takes a look at it and seems to recognize what it's supposed to be. Our hero takes his position and is ready to shoot, so Edna stands back to see if he can actually walk the talk. The plates are unleashed with maximum difficulty, but this is a piece of cake for Wayne. He unleashes a flurry of bullets, all of which hit their targets with ease. And just like that, he gets a perfect score of 20, meaning he has defeated Edna in the bet. The sass girl can't believe her eyes, as it only took one reload for Wayne to get all his shots accurately. She tries to figure out how the Gun of God works, because there is no such relic, even in the church's holy collections. The speed and precision of the gun was unlike anything that magic had ever created, so Edna is having a hard time believing how such power was generated. She asks Wayne if he used time magic, and he says yes without hesitation because he calls her out for using the same thing. She admits defeat and says that Wayne is one of the rare people who has special abilities. It's fun for her because if she has time magic on her side, then it does not matter even if her opponent is stronger than her. Humans and animals get reduced to the status of dolls. However, if this is the case with Wayne, then Edna does not need to train him. She asks him if he can activate his skill with time, and he says that he can only control it when he concentrates. The sass girl tells our hero that if she did not have time magic, then she would have just been a weak woman. She feels that a person like Wayne does not need her assistance if he can control his powers. However, he begs to differ as he believes it takes a lot more than time magic to be strong. He goes on to tell Edna that all of her martial arts and body training methods have helped her enhance her skills along with her time magic. After all, if she did not push herself so much, then she would not have been able to shoot accurately or strike with proper technique. He then hugs Edna and tells her that she should not think of herself in such a way. He considers her to be strong even if she did not have time magic, and this shows a softer side of our hero. Even though he sleeps with his own stepmom, he asks her to continue training him because he wants to gain her technique. Edna feels all kinds of feelings, but she eventually agrees to continue training Wayne. Now, we move to the nighttime in Wayne's room, but he is looking very shy and reserved in front of Edna. This is because she is going to do unspeakable things to him. She says that since she lost the bet, Wayne is free to do whatever he wants with her body. Our hero, however, says that he did not ask for this. After all, he still has his curvy stepmom in mind. Edna reasons that he should not have a problem with it, because such acts are every man's desire. Also, she wants to use her intrusive thoughts as a way of training him. Wayne says that Holly could enter, but Edna says that she won't come in today. A steamy session follows, and Edna says that she does not care about her contract anymore. She wants to violate our hero of her own free will, and that's exactly what happens. This is because the only man who is able to understand her strength is Wayne, and she does not want to be alone anymore. She will most definitely not hand him over to Holly, and then we shift to a girls' sleepover where we see Holly with her friends. She sneezes all of a sudden, so her friends ask her if she is all right. Holly says that she must be sneezing because someone else is talking about her. Either way, she wants to continue the conversation they were having, and we learn that the girls were talking about Wayne. Holly says that she finds him really cute, and the other girls agree with her. As a matter of fact, they consider sharing him with each other for one big party, but Holly says that won't do for her. She feels that only she should get access to our hero because she believes he is a cute boy who has been untouched by women. This seems to be a fantasy for her, which is why she does not want to share him with anyone else. She also wants to make him do all kinds of things to her, so that he completely falls under her control. Of course, she does not realize that Wayne has now managed to clap two sweet and curvy babes like a total boss. But that's a different conversation. The other girls seem to be scared of Holly, so they simply give in to her request and don't raise any other kind of concern. They are just grateful that Holly is spending time with them, so they put this issue aside and go to sleep. How is Holly going to try to bring Wayne under her control? Will he and Edna become full-time lovers? Also, what is the deal with his stepmom Fina? Like, share, and subscribe if you liked this video. Show it some love, and I'll make part 2 if you want me to make part 2. Until then, see you next time. After all the shady activities have been dealt with, we see Edna freshening up, and then Holly shows up. She tells Edna that she has done well with her training today, but she does not see Wayne anywhere. Edna tells her that Wayne has gone to shower as well, since even he must be feeling very dirty after all the things he had done to her. Since Holly is interested in taking away our hero's innocence, she asks Edna if she can be alone with Wayne today. She even confesses that she can't get our hero's elephant out of her mind. But Edna has to break the news to her that she and Wayne have done the unspeakable. Of course, Holly can't believe that such a thing has happened, and she laments that she can't tease our hero anymore. She actually wanted to take Edna's innocence as well, but it's a bit too late for that now. Suddenly, Holly talks about two kinds of flowers that exist in this world which can be plucked, but Edna is clueless once again. Holly then says that if she engages with Edna and Wayne at the same time, then in a way, she will take the credit for that particular act. Edna is not interested in this at all, and then she tells Holly that she intends to become Wayne's lover. This is a big shock, and even though Holly is Edna's friend, she is not going to let her take our hero away from her. Edna then says that even Wayne might have a thing for her, so love is not a bad thing at all. She blushes while saying this, and Holly realizes that she has now become attached to Wayne. It's becoming a bit too much for Holly to take, so she scolds Edna and runs away after calling her a cheater. Edna did expect this revelation to cause some kind of trouble, but she is fine with taking whatever risks are necessary to protect her lover boy. Now, we shift to our hero, who is still cleaning off all the shadiness from his body. He could never believe that he would get to do it with Edna, and she happens to be a bit different from his stepmom as well. If he has to nail it down, then Fina's body is very soft and curvy, while Edna has larger pillows and a nicer bottom. Simply thinking about these two babes makes Wayne all hot again, and he has not been able to cool down from his earlier session. He has to hurry up and change before he misses class, but he does not realize that someone is here to kidnap him. Our hero passes out from a toxic agent, and he wakes up seeing himself trapped as a hostage. The culprits talk about how they were fortunate not to have been caught by anyone while they kidnapped Wayne. They are currently in a place where no one will be showing up, so Wayne worries as to what these people are going to do to him. Now, we learn that the culprits are none other than Holly's gang of followers, and they seem to be interested in getting rid of Wayne as a threat to their idol's body. The girls argue that ending Wayne would not be a bright idea because if Holly were to find out about this, then she would not spare any of them. They refer to Holly as Oni-sama, so Wayne is still not able to figure out what's going on over here. Then, the girls figure that the best way to deal with our hero would be to get rid of his elephant so that he will not be able to do shady things to Holly. As they try to identify the right way to do this, Wayne laments that these girls are having a terrifying discussion in front of him. One of the girls, who is a science maniac, says that she can inject Wayne with a substance that will make his elephant's trunk soft. This way, there will be no external injuries and our hero will never be able to enjoy his shady activities again. It's the worst possible situation that Wayne could have found himself in, and he needs to find a way to escape. The science girl says that she can come up with an injection by nightfall, so Wayne does have some time to figure a way out. However, the other girls notice that Wayne is trying to escape, so they knock him out once again, and can rest assured that he will not wake up till they come back. As he passes out, our hero can only remember his stepmom, who introduced him to this world of shady activities. Meanwhile, Edna asks Holly if she has seen Wayne because he has not come back from his shower yet. Of course, Holly is not interested in telling her anything, but even she does not know what is happening to Wayne right now. Edna is sad because she wanted to use this time to flirt with her new lover boy. As a matter of fact, she says that she should be showering with him from now on. Holly is not at all happy to hear this, and she makes her frustration known to Edna. Now, Edna asks Holly if she can get her gang to look for Wayne, but she says that they are not a gang, but rather her cute little sisters. She recalls that they were busy with something, so she can't disturb them right now. Edna can't wait to get her hands on Wayne again, so she asks Holly to lend her a hand while she searches for him. She says that Holly also has intrusive thoughts about our hero, so she should definitely step up. This is true, and even though Edna got to Wayne before her, Holly decides she might as well help so that she can be repaid the favor later on. Plus, she'd like to be the next girl on Wayne's list, so she does not want anyone else to claim him before that. Holly is very popular in the academy, which is one of her advantages over Edna. So she asks a random girl if she has seen Wayne anywhere. This girl does not seem to like Wayne because of his luck, and she is actually keen on becoming one of Holly's cute sisters. Holly is only interested in our hero right now, so the girl says that Holly's gang was actually talking about him just now. She points her to the place, and then Holly allows her to come to her next sister meeting. Now, we move back to the gang, and they discuss if this is really a good idea. After all, Holly was definitely interested in Wayne, and this leads to some back and forth. They mention cutting off Wayne's elephant at the exact same moment that Holly enters the scene, and she demands to know what the girls are talking about. They panic upon seeing their idol, but they don't really have much of a choice left anymore, so they might as well own up to what they have done. The girls explain to Holly how they kidnapped Wayne, and then they take her to our hero, who is still tied up and not in the best condition. The girls say that they have prepared Wayne for Holly, and she can dig in if she wants. They are even ready to use their own mouths first, so that Holly will only need to connect her kitty cat to Wayne's elephant. But Holly needs a proper explanation right from the start of this plan, so she asks the girls to elaborate. After she gets a proper understanding as to why her cult girls are behaving this way, Holly laments that this is not the right way to go about things. The girls still say that they are ready to chop off Wayne's elephant after Holly is done with him, but she tells them to stop with this nonsense. Then, the girls offer to turn Wayne's elephant soft, so that he can become a teddy bear for Holly to cherish. Hearing this makes Holly think of a few things herself, and then she realizes that this is her chance to make Wayne her slave boy. Basically, she hopes to make our hero addicted to her body, so that he will never be able to leave her. In turn, Edna will break up with Wayne, and this will allow Holly to get with her as well. She goes on to tell her sister group that this is a good idea, but she is cut short by a very angry voice. As expected, it is none other than Edna, who had followed the girls here as she noticed they were acting strange. She can't believe that these girls wanted to do such horrible things to her lover boy, so she tells them she is going to teach them a lesson. Edna is also going to punish Holly, who says that she didn't do anything to Wayne yet. But of course, she was about to go ahead with a sinister plan, so she deserves the beating. She proceeds to brutally beat down all of the cult sisters, and then she takes our hero away from the scene. Edna tells Holly to follow her, and she does so after feeling sorry for all her cult girls. After they reach their room, Edna makes Holly apologize once again, even though she got beaten up before doing anything. She is not sparing the idol girl one bit. But then Wayne regains his consciousness and calls out to his lover girl. He tells her that since he is safe and Holly is clearly feeling sorry for her actions, maybe they can forget all about this incident. Edna can't believe this and says that our hero is a bit too lenient. It could eventually lead to his demise, and he accepts this, but he has also understood something today. Basically, Holly might be shady, but she does have the power of charisma on her side, as it is quite rare to be able to convince a whole group of girls to do terrible things on your behalf. Wayne believes that Holly has a separate skill set when compared to Edna, but his lover girl says that Holly is simply a shady creep. Wayne does not mind that since he has done even shadier things with his own stepmom, and he would feel bad if Holly were to be punished for what has happened today. He does not want the news of this incident to spread, because he wants to be close to Holly and learn charisma from her. Edna is already in love with our hero, so she agrees to let this slide for now. Holly is overjoyed to hear this, so she hugs Wayne with passion and says that only good things will happen to him as long as she is around. Of course, Edna does not want her to keep Wayne's head so close to her soft pillows, so she orders her to let him go. Now, Holly says that she will make sure to teach Wayne a lot of things, but by this, she meant shady activities. Wayne was not expecting this, but Holly insists on it, as they have gotten permission from Edna to do it with each other. She is also watching over Holly's cult sisters, so that they don't try anything funny again. Edna is not at all happy about this, but she knows that the cult girls won't do anything if Holly's desires are satisfied. Even so, the anger is clearly visible on her face, as she did not want Wayne to get with the likes of Holly. She just has to accept things as the way they are, and the other girls are a bit scared to see her like this. The knife girl thinks that she can try to take Edna on, but the other girls tell her that such an act would be futile as they have already been beaten up by her at the same time. Meanwhile, Holly and Wayne have engaged in unspeakable acts, getting his elephant and her kitty cat completely satisfied. Now that they are done, Holly asks whether she was better or Edna, but Wayne does not want to compare them. Since he pauses, Holly says that she, Edna, and our hero can engage in a session together to finally see who tops the list. Wayne reminds Holly that he has to wake up early for class tomorrow, and she also realizes that he's right. She then tells Wayne that there will be some cute girls in class, but he should not cheat at all. It's only Holly and Edna for him as of now, and Wayne can already see his lifestyle turning into a hectic one. The next day, we move to class where we can see all the kids ready for their first session. Wayne is also here, but he can see that most of the kids have already made friends. He was not able to do this, because he was busy doing shady things with Edna earlier. It will be tough for him to get into any circles now, and he also feels as if they are all whispering about him. Suddenly, a creepy hand shows up from behind, but it's only the bald Norman who is glad to see his friend has recovered from his earlier injuries. He heard about Wayne getting into a fight with Edna, and he commends him for having recovered so quickly. After all, Edna is supposed to be the strongest student in the upper grades. It is because of this fight that everyone in class is talking about our hero, and then we see a couple of cute girls also eyeing him. In the middle of all this chitter-chatter, a curvy sensei walks into the room and tells everyone to be quiet. Wayne is shocked to see this sensei because it is none other than his own stepmom Fina. She is wearing a mask to hide her face and says that she will be taking over as the assigned instructor. It's time for introductions, but while the students talk about themselves, Wayne wonders if this is actually his stepmom. Fina sounds very harsh and stern over here, which is not at all like the way she used to be around our hero. It has to be Wayne's stepmom, because there's no way this is a coincidence. Now, it's time for a boy named Edward to make his mark, and he starts off by praising his own combat abilities. He then tries to act like a player by saying he's nice to girls, especially if they're cute. Edward actually has the guts to then ask Fina out on a date, since she also has a super curvy body. Of course, she shuts him down and tells him to save his worthless talk for the mirror. Edward gets spooked, so he sits down, and now it's time for Wayne to tell the class a bit about himself. He hasn't thought this through, so he only says that he has enrolled here to get stronger. But then he figures he should say one more thing, which is that he loves his mom the most in this world. Edward tries to use this as a chance to mock Wayne as a mommy boy, and our hero laments that he wanted to use the word admire, but used love instead. Anyway, at least he didn't say anything else, considering his shady relationship with Fina. And then Norman comes to his rescue. The bald boy tells Edward there is nothing wrong with loving one's family members, and he adds that his own dad used to say that a man who does not care for his own family will never care for his comrades. As Norman continues with his lecture, Edward gets annoyed because his plan has backfired. Now, Fina tries to calm the class down by saying everyone should respect their moms, their comrades, and their moms. The class finds it a bit odd that the curvy sensei said the word mom twice, but no one is going to question Fina about anything. Wayne gets saved, but he wonders if the people of his class will now find him weird. Norman tells him not to worry about it because he loves his own mom a lot as well. Of course, it's not the twisted kind of love that Wayne shares with Fina, but he anyways bonds with Norman over their moms. Fina tells both the boys to keep quiet, and this makes Wayne feel that it can't be his own stepmom because she is a lot kinder than this. Now that the intros are done with, Fina decides to begin with some sparring in order to gauge the students and their abilities. Since she is also a close combat instructor, she orders everyone to move to the training hall immediately. All the kids obey Fina in unison, and then they find themselves inside the hall. The curvy sensei says that the kids will have to spar with her, and they should not hold back. Fina asks someone to step forward, but nobody has the guts to challenge her. In that case, she decides to pick her first victim, and it happens to be Edward because of all the confidence he was showing earlier. At first, he says that he can't raise his hand on a cute and curvy babe, but Fina does not care, and she asks a girl named Sharon to give the signal to begin. Edward is not ready for this, but he decides to go easy on Fina as he does not wish to harm her. Of course, he has no idea how skilled Fina is, and she launches a soft attack on him instantly. Edward is taken down, and then the curvy sensei mocks him for being so frail. It looks like his confidence was nothing more than just talk, and this ticks him off, so he decides to get serious. Edward declares that he was going easy on Fina because she is a woman, but now he will use his full power punch, which is strong enough to take down bears. It's of no use because Fina simply trips him, and then lands a direct kick onto his face, causing him to get knocked out. Norman comments on how brutal this kind of hit can be, but Fina is already looking out for her next opponent. The bald boy decides to go next, but Wayne warns him because he knows how skilled his stepmom is. Norman says that his muscles are not just for show, and he is going to prove that right now. He and Fina engage in a show of strength as they hold hands and push against each other. Norman is surprised to see so much strength in such slender arms, and even Fina confesses that the bald boy is as strong as he looks. Norman begins to gain the advantage as he pushes Fina back with his brute force. But the curvy sensei knows that combat is not just about strength. She lands a finisher move on Norman by grabbing his shirt and slamming him to the ground when his guard is down. Wayne goes to Norman to check on his buddy, and luckily, he is all right. Fina commends Norman's strength, but she says that he still has a long way to go when it comes to skills. Next up is Wayne, and he's already sweating because he knows that Fina is a lot stronger and faster than Edna. There's no use in trying to attack her head-on, so he remembers his fight against Edna when he won, and he tries to use the same method against Fina. Our hero gets into a position to attack, so Fina prepares a counter. He was expecting this, so he slows down time to make sure he lands the first blow. The other girls of Wayne's class are amazed to see that he has been able to land a hit on the curvy sensei. However, our hero realizes that his attack did not go through to Fina, as he was only able to smack her shirt. She managed to pull her stomach inside in order to avoid a direct hit, but she still commends Wayne for being able to land a blow on her. However, since this attack had no effect, Fina calls Wayne weak and charges at him for a finisher move. She grabs his body and slams him to the ground, after which our hero is put into a chokehold. The other students worry for him, so they tell Wayne to tap out. But then Fina whispers into his ear and asks him to come to her room later. Wayne is bamboozled because the sweet voice he just heard is none other than his stepmom. His doubts are finally cleared as Fina tells Sharon to mark Wayne as passed, and then she takes her on. Later, our hero goes to his stepmom's room, but still can't believe it's really her. Fina calls her stepson mean because he should not have expected anyone else. Wayne counters that Fina was being really mean and cold in class. On top of that, she showed no remorse in beating up everyone during the training session, especially Edward. However, Fina says that this was only because Edward was trying to make fun of Wayne for liking his own mom. The curvy stepmom is holding our hero in a shady position, and then he asks her how she became an instructor at this school. Of course, she does have a lot of skills, but she also seems to have some connections, which is why she was able to come to school so easily. The curvy stepmom then admits that she also used a bit of force to make her way in, because she did not want to be away from Wayne for long. Our hero gets this, but then he asks Fina why she has put him in such a shady position. She says that she wants to reward him for working so hard in school, and then she offers to give him a treat with her mouth or her soft pillows. Intrusive thoughts start flowing all over the place, and then Fina teases our hero by saying he loves his stepmom's pillows. Wayne tries his best to fight the temptation, but it's of no use when he's already been drafted into the Alabama army. Fina also tells him there's no point in trying to resist her, as he deserves to be spoiled after so much time apart from her. She notices that Wayne's elephant already has his trunk in attention, and our hero admits defeat because there's no way he can win against his stepmom. Fina proceeds to undress, and she seems to believe that her stepson has been holding it in ever since he came to this academy. Of course, that is not the truth, since he has been busy with Edna as well as Holly. Either way, Fina says that she will do tons of shady things with him now that she's here, and then she invites our hero to bed. Of course, Wayne is now in a predicament, as he does not know how to explain his new lover girls to his stepmom. How is our hero going to play this situation? Will he introduce Fina to Edna and Holly? Will they all have a group session together? Like, share, and subscribe if you like this video. Show it some love, and I'll make part 3 if you want me to make part 2. Until then, see you next time.
After Wayne gets done with all the shady things his stepmom tempts him to do to her, it's morning time, which means that he needs to get to class as soon as possible. After the classes are done with, our hero rejoices over finally being able to get some rest. Norman shows up and asks Wayne if he would like to get some lunch with him, and he agrees. However, the Baldy also wants to invite someone else, and that happens to be Sharon. As he asks her to come dine with them, she wonders if she is actually getting the chance to sit and eat with Wayne, who at this point has become a babe magnet and is making every man on earth jealous of him. She fidgets for a bit and acts cool as she says that she doesn't mind eating with the boys, so Norman gets excited. He says that they should eat in the courtyard or something, and the others agree, although not with as much excitement. As they walk towards the courtyard, our hero asks his bald friend why he decided to invite Sharon to eat with them. Norman says that this would be a good chance for the both of them to get to know each other. After all, our hero has become a very popular boy ever since his hit with the instructor, otherwise known as his stepmom. Of course, if the school knew what else he was doing to the instructor, then they would have probably made him the principal by now. Norman basically says that he wants to become a wingman for Wayne, and he advises him to make use of his stock while it is high. Once again, our hero is doing a lot with his stock when it comes to Fina, Edna, and Holly, so he doesn't need to worry about getting other girls. He even tells Norman that he has no desire to get with Sharon as of now. After all, there is a limit to the number of girls he can handle. However, the Baldy refuses to give up, and he tells Wayne that Sharon is indeed interested in him. All he needs to do is push a little, and he can hit the jackpot with her as well. Wayne is still not sure about this, but all the chatter between the boys makes Sharon curious, so she asks them what they're talking about. They shrug it off as unimportant banter, and then the trio heads over to the courtyard for their meal. The weather is quite nice, and Sharon seems to like it, so she says that it was a good idea to come here. The breeze hits Sharon in the face, and her lustrous hair flows across her face, making her look even prettier. Wayne does admit that Sharon is a beautiful girl, but he must play his cards carefully as he has other women to take care of too. Now, something comes to Sharon's mind, so she asks the two boys what afternoon classes they have been assigned to. It turns out that they have been allocated to the special classes, which are a whole other ballgame. Basically, during enrollment, each student has to go through an aptitude test to find out what skill they are good at. This could mean elemental skills such as fire, wind, water, or even healing. Now, it's not a rule of thumb that each student can only have one aptitude, so for those who have multiple skills, they can freely choose what kind of special classes they would like to take. Our hero reminds us that he also has two aptitudes, but the first one is that of time, for which there is no instructor in the school. That leaves him with his second aptitude, which is that of healing. Sharon is surprised to hear this because she would have never expected to see Wayne with such a skill. Our hero wonders if it really is such a surprise for him to be a healer, so Sharon explains that she had seen him as great when it came to combat fighting. She also heard that Wayne was great with shooting, so it would have made sense for him to have an aptitude that worked on offense. She also points out that healing mages are known to be very kind at heart, so Norman uses this as his chance to execute his wingman skills. He tells Sharon that since Wayne is both kind and strong, he is a great guy, but our hero doesn't like the obvious ploy at work here. The Baldy reminds him again that it's times like these when he will need to flaunt his appeal, so he should just go with the flow. Seeing both these boys fool around with each other makes Sharon laugh, and she says that the both of them seem to be getting along very well. Anyway, Wayne continues by saying he will be going for healing classes in the afternoon, and then he asks Sharon what aptitude she has been given. She goes on to show the boys her skill by summoning a fireball to her palm, thus revealing her aptitude for fire. Wayne is amazed to see the size of the fireball in her hand, and he comments that if she can already do this, then she must be at a very high level. However, Sharon says that this aptitude does not fit her, prompting the boys to ask her why she thinks this way. She explains that fire makes a person seem passionate, but she is more of the dull and gloomy kind, so she feels that darkness would have suited her better. Wayne counters by saying he has heard people calling fire a primary element, which means that those who have it are supposed to be intelligent and kind people. He then says that such a skill fits Sharon perfectly, which makes her blush. She thanks our hero for his kind words, and there is already some kind of connection between them. Norman can see that his wingman techniques have borne fruit, so he teased the budding couple about not giving him enough attention. The both of them ask him about his aptitude at the exact same time, thus proving they are already in sync with each other. He goes on to say that he has the earth aptitude, which means that he is the sturdy type who can be relied upon. Norman agrees that he has been digging holes and filling them all his life, so he loves Earth. However, Sharon says that what Norman has just described is what prisoners usually do when they are punished. The Baldy agrees and says that it is this very reason why it's important to do such activities to raise the mind and spirit. He then asks Wayne if he would like to join him in digging, as this would also come in handy during battles. However, our hero decides to pass on his offer. Suddenly, the trio can hear the bell ringing, so it's time for them to get back to class. They tell each other to do their best before separating, and then we move our hero's healing magic class, which is inside an indoor practice hall. It is used for physical exercises other than combat training, and then we are introduced to the curvy sensei who is going to be taking these classes. Her name is Donna, and she has pillows that would make any boy fall in love at first sight. Everyone comments on these pillows, but Wayne looks at them like a work of art. He even compares them to Edna's, stating that if hers were boing, then these would be kaboom. Donna explains that everyone here may have the healing aptitude, but even this is broken down into several attributes. For example, when it is a case of bleeding via a cut, then it would be best to use fire healing to seal up the wound. If it is a case of broken bones or an exaggerated burn, then water healing will help cool down the injury and reduce the pain. Both processes may work, but it's all about knowing which type would suit the patient better. Wayne pays attention and learns that healing is not only about the injury in itself. Donna adds that when a battle is evenly matched, it's the healing that will eventually decide the outcome. The curvy sensei maintains that healers are extremely important, and any party that neglects its healers will never survive for long. Donna then reveals a big secret, which is that the military pays healers a much higher salary than their counterparts. This makes everyone a lot more enthusiastic about the role, because at the end of the day, money trees is the perfect place for shade. Now that the basics of healing magic have been covered, Dana-sensei says that it's time for the students to practice. Everyone is shocked to hear this because for them to use healing magic would mean that somebody will need to get injured. There's another observation as well, which is that our hero is the only boy in the healer group which is otherwise filled with girls. One of the students even says that if boils down to voting, then Wayne should be the one sacrificed because feminism suddenly vanishes when women are presented with accountability. Dana reassures everyone that no human will get hurt over here, as she has prepared a couple of golems for this very purpose. The male golem is named Yo, while the female golem is named Q. Wayne can't believe that these are golems because their body structures are very similar to those of humans. Dana wants to kick things off by healing cuts and lacerations, so she pulls out a knife and attacks the male golem. In another shocking reveal, Yo screams that his injury hurts and it won't stop bleeding. None of the students show any concern for Yo, so Dana decides to act as if this is very tragic. She then asks Wayne to step forward and save the golem. Our hero doesn't get the acting, but now that he has been pointed out, he will need to help Yo. Wayne remembers his lessons and gathers healing magic in his hands. Since it's a cut, he uses fire healing, but Yo just hurls expletives at him because he fears for his life. He doesn't use enough magic though, so Dana asks him to amp it up a bit since the cut is quite deep. Yo can't stop screaming at Wayne, so he tells him to calm down. After a bit of a struggle, our hero does manage to heal the golem by sealing the wound, but he wonders if it's really necessary for him to scream so much. Dana is glad to see the recovery being done well, and then she sends Yo back. Next up is Q, who is going to be the test subject for burns. This does not sound like good news, but Dana is raring to go with a fireball already in her hands. The other students look at the curvy sensei with fear in their eyes, and then they witness her burning Q's hand rather casually. The female golem shrieks in pain and calls out to Yo for help, but he surely isn't coming back. Dana again starts acting as if Q has randomly gotten burnt by a hot pot or something, which leads all the students to conclude that their new sensei is bad news. Since this is a burn, Wayne figures that he should use water healing, and Dana notices that he is a lot better at it than fire healing. Q heals much faster than Yo, and this is despite having some very serious burns. Wayne passes with flying colors, but he would still prefer if these subjects didn't talk. Now, Dana says the exact same thing will happen for all the other students, which means that the golems are going to suffer a lot during this session. After a while, the bell rings, so Dana concludes her classes for today. There is no homework for special classes, so she sends everyone back to their dorms. The students simply talk about how unnecessary it was to torture the golems, and they don't even have the appetite to eat anything at the cafeteria. They also wonder if the golems were made of mandrake or something, but we all know that Drake is not a real man, so that is out of the question. Wayne simply reflects on how harsh the screams were, and he hopes he can sleep tonight. Suddenly, Dana asks Wayne if he can stay behind, and this makes him a bit suspicious. She wants him to help her tidy things up, and she makes a cute face while asking for it, so he can't really say no to her. At the same time, he wonders what kind of tidying up is needed, as they only use the golems who have gone back home, probably hoping never to come back again. They enter a warehouse, so Wayne believes Dana needs help tidying up this space. She asks him to go lie down on the mat, so he agrees, but he does not understand what this has to do with organizing the warehouse. That's when Dana shows her true colors and reveals her curvy body to our hero. He is confused as he does not know why she is doing this, But the curvy sensei says that tidying up was all a lie. She actually wanted to continue some other kind of special lessons with Wayne, which means that she too is the female version of Drake. Wayne wants to know why this lesson does not require any garments, so Donna explains that it is a special lesson on intrusive thoughts. Wayne asks her why they are doing this when they have only just met, and he is also worried about someone catching them in the act. Donna shocks him further by stating it was actually Fina who asked her to do shady things to her stepson. Also, no one comes around at this time, so they will not get caught. Wayne can't understand why his stepmom would ask Donna to do such a thing, and then he asks the curvy sensei if she is really comfortable doing unspeakable things with a student. She reveals that she only wants to act on her intrusive thoughts with cute students, so she does not care about anything else. The curvy sensei licks her lips as if she is preying on our hero, and he fears that he has met an expert cougar. What follows is an extremely intense session, and our hero surprisingly loses the battle by letting out his elephant water first. This is because of Donna's kitty being made of special magic. Wayne apologizes for not following the lady's first rule, but Donna is fine with it. She makes him promise to do an even more special play the next time, but Wayne does not understand what she means by this. Donna tells Wayne to ask his stepmom for more details, as even she is looking forward to it. What exactly does Fina want to do together with Donna and Wayne? We already know the answer, but will it actually happen? And where is Edna in the middle of all this? Like, share, and subscribe if you like this story and want a stepmom like Fina. Show this video some